Welcome back to Craft to Basic channel. I watch YouTube too, and I follow a lot of channels that restore furniture. I envy their skills, their patience, and their amazing final products, so I decided to give it a go myself. It sat somewhere damp way too long, with water dripping down the top and legs, to the point where the legs were badly rotted. I decided to shorten the table a bit from its original height, but still keep it usable. I started to disassemble the table by unscrewing the base from the top and then remove the plugs covering the screws on the legs. This table is made of pine, not the best material out there, but honestly still better than IKEA garbage because this is solid wood. Some screws and staples held the legs in place, and I had to yank those out. I decided to shorten the table a bit from its original height but still keep it usable. Out of the legs, I picked the worst looking one and started to cut it down little by little to see how much rot I had to remove and to check if the final height would still work. Bit of a nervous moment as finding the replacement legs of the same size would be a pain. Thankfully it turned out to be just the right height, so I trimmed the remaining legs to match. Using 80 grit sandpaper, I stripped the old paint off the legs. Just like my favorite restoration channel, Dashner Design and Restoration, I used oxalic acid to treat the dark water stains on the legs. Applied it on all sides and let it dry. A quick sweep underneath and the top, and I got to work with 80 grit sandpaper, but it wasn't enough. I switched to 40 grit to cut through the old paint and deep water damage easier. Once it was sanded, I applied oxalic acid on the whole tabletop, let it dry and did a second round both top and legs. Legs had some cracks, so I glued them up. Nothing major that needed clamping. The bottom of the legs had some pretty rough rot. I tried cleaning out the damage with an old chisel, but ended up using a drill to bore it out. Not ideal, but it worked. I considered epoxy resin, but went with a quickset epoxy mix to reinforce the holes instead. It was faster and still strong enough since they'd be covered anyway. The person I restored this asked for solid panels on two sides. Not my style, but hey, it's not for me. I had leftover pine from an old wardrobe, the same I used in Wooden Goku project, and cut two rectangles to size. quick dry fit showed that the large panels actually look decent, even if I wasn't the biggest fan. From the original side rails, I removed the leg supports and replaced the rusty screws with new ones. Since they were thicker, I had to enlarge the holes.
Very nice.
At this point, things were looking solid. I went over with 80, 120, 240 and 320 grit sandpaper. Overkill? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. I used my trusty sander holder 2 quintillion for the small bits, and did the rest by hand. Then I attached the side panel holders, clamped, drilled and screwed them together. Here I hoovered and wiped everything down before staining it with a leftover can of glossy medium oak wood stain from Wilco. Rest in peace, Wilco. At first I didn't notice the blotching on the tabletop, so I just went ahead and stained everything. After it dried out and I started a light sanding, I saw how blotchy the top was, especially where the water damage had been the worst. So I sanded the top back down, applied a pre-stained wood conditioner and started over. I probably should have done 2 coats of conditioner, but hey, one is better than nothing. After that, I restained the top. Still had a little blotching, but it was much improved. I followed with 2 more layers to even things out, and finished with 3 coats of clear gloss interior varnish, sanding lightly between each layer. I cut and applied some self-adhesive felt to the bottoms of the legs to protect the floors. It's time to reassemble. I thought about plugging the screw holes with wood, but honestly I kind of like the exposed industrial look. What do you think? Should I plug them as original or left them visible? Let me know in the comments, it's still fixable. And here it is, the finished piece. Far from perfect, but also far from what it looked like a few days ago. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a comment, leave a like, and hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.